So here we are along one of the walls of the fort, which is now along Market Street in Ligonier. You can see some of the reproduction cannons here. The fort was quite heavily armed for its time, and given the location at the very outskirts of the British territory. The French were in big trouble when they assaulted the fort in October of 1758. What had happened about a month and a half previously is the British had taken Fort Frontenac in Ontario, Canada. And Fort Frontenac was a very important battle because Fort Frontenac served as the main supply depot for all the French forces in the interior, including Fort Duquesne. So once Frontenac fell, the French were in big trouble. They had no longer any source of supply, so they had to force the British out before they launched a more concerted attack on Fort Duquesne. So that's what the attack in October of 1758 was about, to disrupt Forbes' campaign and the advance force that was facing out of Ligonier. So once the French lost that battle, there was an assault early in the day and through the night. And once the French failed to penetrate the fort, the French retreated, and frankly, they destroyed Fort Duquesne on their own within about 6 weeks of losing the battle here, because the French realized that their position at Duquesne was untenable given the supply situation and the fact that Forbes would be arriving soon with the bulk of his army. What was at Fort Ligonier at the time of the battle was just the vanguard of the British force. Once Forbes moved up with the rest of his forces along the road that they were constructing, it was all over for the French. And in spite of a brilliant campaign conducted in a guerrilla warfare manner, there was no way that they were going to force the British out of Fort Ligonier. At one point, there were as many as 2,000 troops here. The French force probably composed no more than 150 French regulars and about 400 or so Native American troops. So they were heavily outnumbered and attacking an entrenched position, not an enviable position to be in at all. We're going to walk up to some of the other fortifications within the fort now.